Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. Today is Friday. It's Memorial Weekend, and we want to remember and honor all of those that fought and lost their lives for us. So I hope you are wearing red or have a red cup or have something red around you so that we are remembering everyone deployed. So join us for happy hour, share and like this video, and I'll be right back with my buddy Clint Westwood right after this. Cheers, Westwood. How is your Memorial Weekend looking?
Oh, it's full of memories.
Full of memories.
Full of memories, all right. Full of memories. I'm way behind here. I'm trying to hit people up.
Well, we were chatting. One more list to go. Him. Sorry. Yes, and thank you for doing that. And I always try to retweet those. And thanks for everybody that likes and retweets those.
Yeah, and responds to it because a lot of times.
Yeah, that's really helpful.
It is. It's because it's hard to. It's hard. I mean, you know, you follow a lot of people's feeds. I mean, the algorithms, the way they work, and it's like, oh, I didn't know it was on. And so I'm just like blasting people out, probably annoying some people, you know, tweeting it all the time. But it's like, you know what?
Oh, maybe they'll pop in and say hi and then talk in the chat. We have such a great group in the chat.
And if you don't want to be on it, tell me, quit tagging me on these damn tweets. You know, see, there's Carl. He just retweeted it. So it's like, hey, he's paying attention. It's like, all right, there we go. Yeah, so I mean, there it is.
Carl has a YouTube channel as well.
He does, and he's got so many different things going on at Carl's Creek. You know, he's always doing some kind of experiment and stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, free energy stuff, and I'm like, dang, well, he knows a lot of stuff.
Is that the video that he did the other day where he's like literally hanging a hammock across the creek or whatever?
Yeah. Then he had like two angles of it. He's got his feet or something. He's got the other way, and I'm like, 360 cam drone or something. I'm like,
something was going on at Carl's Creek. Yeah.
Always cool. Something.
Yeah. Good friends. That's nice.
Good dude.
I love it.
Yes. Red, patriot. He's a patriot. Yes. Good man.
Lost so many good people in our country. That's where when people say like they want to talk about like that America's broken or that there's so many bad people or all this, the people that are mentally ill or brain damaged or wanting to harm other people are so few compared to just like, okay, so we've been doing this garage selling stuff lately, which I love, going and finding pieces of history, which we'll be talking about here in a minute. I'm so excited. Yay, because I'm a dork. I love American history stuff. But like, we're just, you know, Charlie and I are walking into homes, and sometimes it's the family members there that they've, you know, lost their parents recently.
Oh, like an estate sale.
Estate sales,
yes. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Or those garage sales or different things. Like there's this apps and stuff that you can find in our area that we can find, and we'll just like kind of go have a day date and walk around and whatever. And so I always like looking for historic things that are Americana. Have some history or Oklahoma specific, you know, something like that. And I usually get to know, or we try to get to know, or have a conversation or two with the people that are selling to kind of see the story. And if you just have a little bit of humanity and kindness, like this one lady, you know, she had this beautiful big set of Franciscan pottery dish set. It was beautiful. And I was like, this is really a lot more valuable than what you have it marked. And then she was like, well, maybe I'll just take a piece or two. And I was like, you know, you probably should look at it. And she's like, well, I'll call you. And I was like, okay, but you should probably look at it, you know, and like just be a good human sometimes, you know.
Right. And take advantage of people.
Help people out, do the right thing. Yeah. And then I don't know, some other people. Charlie walked in. There's this big guy putting on a suit jacket, you know, and he's like, well, Jeeves, should we go hit 9 holes today or something like that. Like he was like making this weird comment, and Charlie's like,
spoofing.
yeah, that'd be the life, wouldn't it, man? You know, or something. And just being real people with each other, you know,
Yeah,
just being a human. And you know, I don't
let
know.
me go get the Grey Poupon. Oh.
Yeah, yeah, but there's some really good people out there that are that are just, you know, I don't know. I think it's cool to go to these garage sales or estate sales and talk to the people that are there, and like, what's their story, or, you know, what are they looking for? There was a family that was looking for tools because they were like, it looked like they were starting a business or doing something with a business or something, because they were really specific about what things they were looking for. I don't know, just really interesting. There's so many stories out there.
That's what I was just thinking in my head. Everybody's got a story. You know, and you can't just blanketly, that's how you started it. You know, everybody's bad. Oh, the whole America's terrible. It's like, no, everybody's got their own story that they can tell. And if you just kind of listen, a lot of times you'll find you got a lot in common. A lot of times they'll resonate with a lot of the stuff we talk about. We're like, yeah, things are screwed up. What the heck? You know, and then you kind of realize, hey, wait a minute. You know, there's like this undercurrent going on out there that, you know, as we talk to each other, we realize 81 million people? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, there is an underground. I missed the underground this week.
Did you? Okay.
I missed the spaces this week, so I thought I'd wear the hat at least for a minute or two, but it's really hard to get my eyes out of the shadow. But Litecoin Underground on Wednesday nights. Check them out. Good peeps. And I had a couple of my friends from another project that I'm like collabing on. Ooh, my goodness, I got my hair all over the place.
Me too.
They jumped in on the spaces last week, and they were like, man, there's some really great people in there. And he was like, I love the way they were thinking about this other thing. And I hadn't thought about that before. And so sometimes, like, when you can cross promote, or I love bringing people together. Like, I love finding like my friends that can, hey, well, actually I could share that. The Silver Symposium. So Bix has agreed to join the Silver Symposium. That our friend Patrick, a lot of you guys in the chat know him as Divvy Daddy. He is helping to put on this event in Vegas. This will be much later this year, but they're doing this right now. I would buy the ticket right now, because right now you get the ticket for like $89 or $90 or something like this for the base $89. And it includes a 1 ounce silver round.
Well, shoot, by then it might be worth that.
By then it's going to be, I think, worth way more than that, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, but it's a mining and investment conference. And he really, so he's working with this group, Stock Pulse, and they're putting on, or they're the main sponsor of this Silver Symposium. It's going to be at the Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, September 29th through October 1st. And he was really passionate about crypto, you know. So his bosses, or his people that are putting this on, I don't know if they're his boss, said, hey, how do I get you passionate about, you know, talking about this thing? He's like, man, bring crypto into it. And for him, the only one that could really bridge that gap, that had any kind of skin in the game with silver bugs, was Bix. And so he's like, hey, Lisa, can you do me a favor?
I might know a guy. I don't know.
And I said, well, I might know a guy. So I talked to Bix, and we know Bix just lost his father this last week. So we're sending lots of love and prayers to the Weir family, and much respect on this Memorial Weekend to a patriot, William Weir. Everybody can raise a glass to William Weir.
Yep.
And we're grateful forever for you. But it is just really about those connections, and thinking about, you know, the hashtag shop local, but it's also about cross promoting with our friendships and our relationships. And so Bix has agreed, he's going to be one of the speakers. And so he's going to be that crypto connection and that bridge for, and I think the timing of it's going to be amazing.
Yep.
So if you are interested, there is a link in the description of this video. It's a Road to Ruta like referral link or whatever. And that way you can click, get your ticket. I think there are other kinds of tickets, but that's like the base ticket. They're going to have prizes. They're going to have other Bitcoin meetups. I'm going to have a conversation with Westwood after happy hour. And we may have a happy hour roadshow event there that would, we'll just see. I like to spring things on him publicly.
Well, 'tis the spring.
Hey, bats will swing in the spring, right?
It's a swing away, Meryl. Swing away.
Swing away. Bats will swing in the spring. There's rumors that Hunter got arrested. I haven't seen any like hard and fast proof of that. I did see an article that that said that his baby mama was filing for him to be arrested.
His
well, the one that
family mama, his niece, his sister-in-law,
the one that he's currently in litigation with about
the
London mama or something.
Right.
I don't know if she was a lady.
Wasn't she I think she was. I think she was.
She may have been.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
you're welcome. Open up the laptop, Patrick, and find out.
We love you. Yeah. Much love to the Weirs. So speaking of history and all this, I wanted to ask you about this stuff. So I found this today.
All right. Oh, and then speaking of history too, today is my mother's birthday.
Happy birthday, Kathy.
Yes. Happy birthday. Cheers. I said in my video today, she's younger than she looks. You never think she's the age she is. And she's starting doing the math on me and then her, and they're like, well, she's got to be at least
younger than she looks.
She looks younger than she is.
Yeah, you said that the wrong way.
Well,
We're
it
about
works
to
either
get
way.
Cut off.
It's like she's 85 and she looks great.
No, she looks great. She's like super fit and always has a big smile on her face.
Very
she
spry.
Looks amazing. Yes.
Always gets around really well. Better than I do.
It's not that she gets around really well. She's in great shape and she's very, allows her to get along. Fit and beautiful. Well. Yes. And you know who else's birthday is coming up? Jenny and I talked about it on Wednesday. Did you watch Jenny and I's show?
I watched like half of it and I couldn't watch the other half. I had to mute it because
just say yes. I watched it. Made me feel good. You watched part of it. Just say yes.
I did.
I watched it. Yes. Oh, thank you. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. And
how could I not?
Yes, how could you not? So JFK's birthday is Monday.
Mm-hmm. He was born in what, like 1917, I think. I'm just pulling it out of my.
He would be 106 on Monday.
Well, there it is. 1917. I was correct.
Okay.
I know that because Reagan was born in, I think, 1911. And Reagan, when he was in office, was actually younger or older than JFK. Yeah, older than JFK.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of a weird thing anyway.
That is interesting. I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But he's eternally young. JFK, we remember him with all his ideals and fighting the deep state and all that good stuff. And now we've got his nephew kind of saying a lot of the same stuff. Pretty cool.
Yeah. He is being a voice of reason during a lot of this. And I love that it seems to be bringing a lot of peace. And like
searching for truth.
Yeah. And there's not so much divisiveness. Like kind of the Dems have handicapped themselves from being like, typically they were the more in my opinion, they were the more divisive or antagonistic in the past few years of the parties or whatever. And like they got bumbling Joe. Well, you can't do much with that.
No, you're pretty much locked in a box there.
You know, like there's no poking the bear with old bumbling Joe.
Very much.
You know, it's like fighting with a wet noodle.
You ain't got much to work with.
Yeah. Or you have a voice of reason Kennedy.
You got this.
And they're like, well, you don't see them really getting behind either one.
No, because Michelle Obama is going to be the choice.
Oh, come on. Big Mike came out with her book about becoming Michelle.
You know what, though? But see, I talked about this today in my video. This is part of the plan. I mean, they have to push it out so hard and fast right now. And it's way compressed. They were going to drag it out forever and boil the frogs slowly. Now they've thrown all of the frogs into the hot water, and we're like, no, we're not doing this. Then you see the backlash on Bud Light, on Target, on North Face, and all these companies now. And now we're going to throw her in there to really just like go full bore, pedal to the metal. And I mean, it's going to expose it all. It's going to cause everybody to question instead of slow rolling it and kind of keeping it all hidden and slow reveal.
They're showing so much stuff.
They're showing their hand, the whole thing. They're like, it's on the table, and we're like, oh,
not just hands. There have been all kinds of things. Like Chuck Schumer was very happy with what was on his plate the other day. I don't know what was going on this week during.
It's the absolute worst.
Yes, it was the worst. It's some hot dog thing this week. I haven't caught the calm. I'm not catching the joke. Like, I know I'm a little slow on the dirty joke thing. So I'm sure.
Well, the code, you know what the code is. I mean, you look at the FBI code words for,
Right. I know what all that means.
Yeah.
Well, I also saw like a bunch of stories about, like, I saw Britney dancing very strangely.
I don't know if that was AI. It might have been AI, one of those videos, I think. It was filtered. Yeah, it was filtered.
Okay. Well, there was something swinging under her skirt.
We don't know what's real anymore.
Yeah.
AI, they're rolling that out like at warp speed now. Warp speed. See, there's a reason why I used Operation Warp Speed, because that's your code right there. Everything has to get accelerated, because if it's not accelerated, they're going to slow roll it and just usher us into this digital control grid matrix, and that's where we were headed. But now they've got to expose it like right now, because they're losing, and because they had the plan. Well, the plan got interrupted in 2016 and kind of got derailed. So now they're trying like, okay, we got to go warp speed and like go all out and put it all out there. So when he says warp speed, to me, it's like, there's a reason why he says that, because that is what they have to do right now. They have to go warp speed to get it all out there and try and fulfill their plan.
And that would make sense why these
companies
breaks
everything
are just
in doing it. But see how it breaks it all? The whole thing's exposed.
Yeah.
Literally
so
and
does that have to do with the Monaco Grand Prix?
Oh, I don't know.
I heard that was Chicago? One of the largest. No. It's
Monaco 64. What was it? Who was it? There's some channel, I think, Monaco or something. Anyway, sorry, tangenting. Dendrites and synapses are connecting and firing.
So that is one of the largest human trafficking events next to the Super Bowl in the world, is this Monaco Grand Prix, is what I'd heard. So very interesting that all that's coming out now.
It's all coming out. I mean, it's just all coming out.
That was the other thing that Jenny said was, people keep saying, well, when's the event? When's the event? Guys, it's here. It's now. It's all out there. They're calling when they had the Archdiocese announcement on Wednesday, and they just talked about Illinois. Only Illinois. Yeah. But they said, thanks to the investigation that started in Pennsylvania, and it was under special counsel. So that is Durham's special counsel. That's a special counsel thing. Maybe it's not Durham's, but it's special counsel.
Yeah.
So then it started in Pennsylvania. That means it's happening everywhere else too.
And think about this. Illinois, Democratic attorneys general, both of them. It started like 4.5 years ago. They started investigating all this stuff.
Right.
And it was under Lisa Madigan, of all people, the daughter of, Madigan, that ran Illinois, that's up for corruption charges now, the guy in the House that dominated Illinois politics. his daughter started this, and now it's another Democratic attorney general, and he's coming out and naming names and dropping it all out there. And there's many more names than the Catholic Church actually put out. Yeah. So it's like, this is Illinois revealing this stuff. You wouldn't think that would happen here, but it is. So I mean, once that boulder starts rolling down the hill, it's just like you got to either, get behind it or get rolled over by it. I mean, it's, you can't be wrapped up in it, because you're going to find out that a lot of people are wrapped up into it. It's not just isolated in this tower called the church. You're going to see all the horizontal connections to politics, to hotel owners, to, police chiefs, to all these people that you thought were, decent people. No, that corruption at that top level, it's all horizontally connected. So those connections are devastating, and it goes all the way to the top of this country and beyond, the people you don't know. I mean, it's coming out, though.
We're having these hearings. So today, Jamie Dimon was supposed to speak at on the suspicious transactions that were coming through for minors and things like that through Hunter's account and through the Epstein accounts. But then this came up last night, that GOP opens an investigation into Bank of America for providing customer information to FBI without people's permission.
So we're seeing,
not only Chase,
it's all of them,
but also Bank of America. A lot of these are voluntarily turning over customer financial information to.
That's what they did in big tech. That's what they've done in banking. That's what they've been doing, and it's a revolving door of the people at the top. I mean, you start looking at the connections of the people served in the administration or part of the government, and then they go to these corporations, these banks, these pharmaceutical companies, all this stuff, and the media companies, and it's just like they're all working together. And instead of issuing subpoenas and doing it by the book, it's like, oh no, they pick up the phone or they send an email, and they're just like backdoor channeling everything. I mean, it's a big network of corrupt people is really what it is. It's bigger than anybody can ever imagine. Now you're starting to see it. It's like, holy crap, they're really doing this stuff? Yeah, they are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about. But the people are seeing it this time. I mean, That's the difference is that the people are seeing it this time. They're seeing that there's two courts of justice. They're seeing it that there's two sets of rules, rules for they and there's rules for us. And so
rules for thee and rules for me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
It is crazy. And it all comes down to this. And this is the lesson we need to take away from it, is that look at the Bud Light situation, look at the Target situation, look at what's coming with North Face, all these other corporations. Look at the money they're losing. And the reason why is because we've got the knowledge now. The people actually have the information now and say, nope, not going to give you the power, not going to give you the energy. I'm going to withdraw it. And that's all you got to do to fix all this. You can collapse these companies overnight just by saying no to them. Don't give them your power. They're vampires. Again, don't give them your energy, and they die. They're die again, or they wither away. That's all you got to do. And people are starting to click and realize, yeah, look what we did to Bud Light. Yeah, look what we did to Target. Pretty soon you're empowered. And you're like, yeah, anybody messes around, does this crap again, we're going to do the same thing. Hey, politicians do this? No, we're not going to give you any money. We're done. And it gets to that level. That's where it needs to get. You just withdraw your energy from it. You don't need to fire a bullet. Just withdraw your energy, and the whole thing just crumbles.
Yeah, I can't. I think it was Glenn Beck said, we're not Germany, but we're not France out rioting in the streets. So how will America stand up? And I think this is how we're standing up. This is how we're having our voice heard, is that we're voting with our dollars.
That's it. Your money, your energy. Just like Tom says, the Great Awakening. That's all it is. It's a Great Awakening. Once you wake up, then you make the decision to say, I'm not going to empower it anymore. I'm not going to give it energy anymore. And you see what happens. These companies, they're in trouble. I mean, they really are. They should be.
Yeah.
They don't reflect the values of the majority of people. It's like, you don't see me pushing to have, hey, we need to have a cigar whiskey room in the front of Target, where, or anywhere I go. That's why I need to be included. I feel like you need to have that there. And, everybody else needs to see that when they walk in the door. It's like, no, I'm going to do that here on my own time. And you know what? You want to come hang out with me? That's cool. I'm not going to force that on anybody. The problem is they're forcing that agenda on everybody. Not everybody drinks whiskey and smokes cigars, and that's fine. Not everybody, is wrapped in a rainbow flag. And so quit pushing it. Just stop. If you want to make it available, that's fine. But, the level at which they're doing it goes to a deeper level. It's far darker and far more.
For me, the part that draws the line is when you're sexualizing children.
Right, and that's all they've done.
That's where you draw the line.
That's what they're going after.
Sexualize children.
Dancing at freaking libraries, and you got people laughing at it while their kids are getting like couch danced and rolled on the floor. I mean, what's wrong with you people?
Yeah,
seriously, parents, what's wrong with you?
About their reading.
It has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, no. It's really disturbing.
Mm-hmm. You don't see me giving cigars and whiskey to 9-year-olds.
Right.
Just saying.
That's a great point.
I just don't do it.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the show, folks.
Your restraint.
Trust yourselves.
No, don't get whiskey and cigars.
You'd probably be better off, though. Honestly. But
so I'm curious what you think about this. I have a Saturday Evening Post from April 10th of 1943.
Okay.
The back of this is hilarious. And then I have a paper from it too, but the ad is awesome. So the front of this is
like a gunfighter in the airplane. This looks like the moonshots that they do.
It does look like one of those fake moon things.
Yeah, it's like when they're
so hokey.
Flying around the earth.
Like he's
is there a mouse running around on
sitting in his seat.
Is that Elon?
I'm pretty sure that's not how you would be shooting the gun. I don't know. But it says Roosevelt's World Blueprint. Oh, how something Ireland.
The Great Society, isn't that what he called it?
But I thought this was really cool. The back is what cracks me up. Panty waist, breakfast.
Oh.
Won't lick the axis.
Oh, God. There you go. You got to fight those axis. Axi.
Oh, my gosh. I can't believe they put that on the...
But see,
here's this week's lineup of breakfast a man can really go on. They're built Cheerios, the modern ready-to-eat cereal that gives you vitamin and mineral values of oatmeal.
There you
go. And they used to be called Cheerios, like CHEE.
Makes you cheery.
Well, I guess it kept you very fighting. Try these 7 fighting breakfasts. They keep you fighting, so you're not a panty waste.
You're not a panty waste. Eat your Cheerios, kids, and drink your Ovaltine.
Can you believe that aggressive? That's a man's breakfast. I'm going to go buy Cheerios for my boys. I'm going to have my husband eat Cheerios every day.
You darn right. We ain't buying any of those Wheaties with that one former guy on it.
Yeah. No Caitlin Wheaties at our house. We got Cheerios.
Cheerios.
I love
with no sugar.
Yeah, I loved this. I thought it was awesome.
And raw cow milk.
Cheerios.
Mm-hmm. We have some Cheerios. My daughter wanted some Cheerios, so we happened to just buy something. That's kind of funny.
Oh my gosh.
She bring that up. So we never have Cheerios.
And then it came with this, the Daily Oklahoman it's a certificate of authenticity.
Oh, it's legit.
The Southwest Newspaper Archives herewith certifies. If you say herewith, it makes it sound
well, yeah, it does.
That this rare original document of one day in the past preserved over the years as part of Oklahoma's heritage has been transferred to the bearer for continued preservation and care. So then,
good for all that's public and private.
So I guess they had been taking care of this paper, and then they had it authenticated. So it is from
authentified
from April 10th of 1943, which that is the day that the Germans' key officers fled Tunisia by air. So, kind of exciting.
Getting out of Africa.
The whole World War.
Leave it to Rommel. Run those tanks. You take over. We're out.
I thought it was kind of cool. There
It
is
is cool.
hope for a post-war peace, it says.
See, yeah, look at that history, and you look at what people went through then. They're thinking, oh, the evil Nazis are going to run over, and the evil Japanese and Mussolini, the Axis, they're going to take over the world. It could be it. We all will be speaking German,
Yeah.
Even though a lot of people still spoke German in the U.S. because there was still kind of,
because
first
they
generation.
had a whole German, community settled here. The U.S. is prepared to ease meat price squeeze. Sounds familiar.
We just got to get through this war, folks. Once we get out of this war, we're going to have cheap meat again.
Isn't it funny?
It's the same old song and dance. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's just scare tactics, fear tactics, artificial scarcity like it always is when we live in a world of abundance, so.
Japs sink. Japs.
Oh, yeah.
Sink 4 Allied vessels.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
rotten Japs. Put them in internment camps in California. Even though they're Americans.
Bond drive. Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was cool.
It is. And I was talking about the pair of Levi's jeans, I think, in the past that they found in a mine in California. It was one of the original pairs of Levi's jeans, and they had the tag on it, sold for like $70,000.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, it was like made in the 1800s, and they had a label on it, and I can't remember what the label said, but it said something like not made with Chinese labor or something like that. It was real racist, but at the time, you had a lot of Chinese laborers over here doing railroads and stuff. And so it was even then made with American labor, not Chinese people. And, there was just, America. And so it was one of those. It sold for quite a bit. I think it was like $73,000 with the auction fee. And the guy's like, oh, no, it's going to double in the next few years just because of the historic value. It's a real pair found in a mine that somebody used with that label. But it's funny to look at the history and, kind of what we went through by looking at those things and thinking that we're racist now, that they want to tell us, oh, we're racist now. I mean,
it's the attitude.
It's pretty racist in the past,
word.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's not the word, it's the attitude, and it's how you treat a human. And the word racist, and the way the word racist has been thrown around is probably more damaging than a lot of those other words,
Yeah, well, crazy. Gavin Newsom says we're going to have this coordinated attacks against the LGBTQ minus community coming up soon. He's trying to foment this. And then I saw Biden came out and said he's having this program task force to fight anti-Semitism. And I mean, it's like, is that a big thing? I mean, is it really a big thing? I think they're making it a big thing because, if you look at what Cliff talks about in the Ashkenazis and the renaming of, and so I think you'll find a lot of people, they're kind of front running it a little bit and saying, oh, you're an anti-Semite. No, we're actually looking at the history of these people who called themselves Jewish, but they're really not, George Soros, people that are carrying out bad things. And so they're going to use that as, and they're going to use it as, well, you're an anti-Semite. Now we've got this task force to come get you because you are, and it's like they're making something that it isn't. Because they're twisting it, and that's all they do. They just twist the reality of it. And the narrative
went on since Genghis Khan. So that's when Cannon did his report last year on Genghis Khan.
My assistants.
Yes. I'm his teacher. So but that's what I learned about Genghis Khan and that whole and they settled, that whole crew settled in, that's the Khazarian, and they settled in the Ukraine and that area, and they would go and they would, if there was a family getting married, they would go and they would steal the bride the night of her wedding and impregnate
like
her.
a vampire.
Yeah, because they would want their heir, their generations, or their
And that's how it is in the Jewish faith, though. Traditionally, that's what it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. But in order to be truly Jewish, even though it's a religion, it exactly goes to the womb. And so, that makes sense. Stealing that bloodline, stealing that heritage. Nothing but theft. That's all it is.
That's kind of wild to think about. And so much of the history's been, lost and perverted and
Right.
stolen,
Perverted is a good word for it, because that's really what it is.
Yeah. But with Bitcoin, so one thing you can do if you're watching on Twitter, or if you use Twitter, you can use at eternalize this, and it will store whatever. So if you find a great story, something that's factual information that you think should be stored on the blockchain forever so that it will be immutable, no one can change it. A great way for you to help store information, store history. You can be, a keeper of history, of American history right now, or wherever, all over the world. You can use at eternalize this, and it will go. Dragon Chain has a project where they have a bot that saves. So if you reply to that tweet, then it takes that tweet and it puts it on the blockchain, and it'll respond to you and say, thanks, so-and-so, this has been saved on the blockchain, blah, 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 blah. So it's a way that we can kind of fight back and save history, or document it at least on the blockchain. To have
be your own librarian.
Yeah.
With the blockchain. Who knew? I think that it may be used for that more than it is money in the future, because we look at Bitcoin, Litecoin as sound forms of money, but really it's just a transfer of value. I mean, but the storage of value and data on those blockchains are going to be very important. I mean, because especially with AI, I mean, the stuff that's coming out now, they're just like, again, warp speeding the AI stuff. I mean, you saw the Pentagon explosion, with the fake AI thing that, made the markets move. I mean, things like that are going to start happening. If you're not really there, you don't really know if it happened. And I mean, by putting information, and storing information on the blockchain, you might go back and look at an online book and say, wait a minute, Mandela effect. I thought it said this in this book. And, it got changed because it's digital. So it's important to take, store the accurate information, the truth on these blockchains, so that they're good for posterity and something to look at. It's like a virtual library of sorts, which I think is very important, because, you lose a lot of knowledge. We've lost a lot of knowledge with the library at Alexandria that got destroyed, and other ones. I mean,
yeah. Where is it? Reverend Graham. Oh, I'm trying to find it. Here it is. Reverend Franklin Graham issues a warning to America, and I did a show on this the other day, that he says that we will not be able to communicate with normal, like, phones and whatever, that they've already, in the Christian community, they've already started building their own database in California to try to preserve some history and be able to have some data saved. But he's talking about that, I guess, last October, a bunch of Christian accounts got closed down. We just had a friend that the crypto community has seen this over and over. A lot of the banks are being targeted because they're associated with crypto and being closed down. Our friends at GetHedge had their accounts closed, and they have now 30 days or something to try to get their clients settled out till July 1st or something. So it is a real thing to have the threat of losing your data. And that's what Reverend Franklin Graham said, be very careful, because most people, we store most of our information in the cloud, and we just assume that it's going to be there. The cloud is really just a bunch of servers owned by Amazon.
Correct. AWS servers or Apple, wherever you decide to upload it to, they manage all that. It's centralized. If it gets hacked, and you have that happen to where, one of the models, she had her nude pictures hacked, those in the cloud. I can't remember her name, but somebody on the chat will remember. But I mean, you put that stuff up there, it's centralized. It gets hacked, or they just shut it off or censor it, and the government comes in and says, hey, we need this. Just like Ledger, the CEO, I think it was the CEO, said that, this new service to where we can back up your seed phrase. If the government comes in and asks for it, of course we're going to give them the information. Coinbase has said the same stuff. Yeah, of course we'll give the information, because they're compliant to that system. And so you got to look at it as, okay, I don't want my data stored with somebody else that's the custodian of it. And so with blockchains, they're decentralized. You can have your data stored. And that's why I think these ordinals, these NFTs, all these things that allow you to store things on the blockchain are going to be so important. And I think you're going to spend more money doing that to preserve data than you are really and that's its own form of money. So, I mean, in a way, yeah, it's money, but it's all energy, it's all information, it's all valuable. And the good blockchains that have been around for a while are going to carry a premium. I mean, and you see it with
especially
Bitcoin,
if that's
$25, $30 for a transaction. I mean, there's a reason for that, because people are like, hey, I'm going to pay up. I don't want to take any chances. I'm on the oldest blockchain. That's where I want to put it. So
yeah, especially if that's the way, like, Bix and I had that conversation that if the dollar goes to zero, if money goes to zero, and we're trading and we have replicators and we live in this beautiful world, and then
right, we can produce anything we want,
and it's just our ideas, what's valuable. Well, how do you trade your idea? You need to be able to send it in its voice. It's the freedom of speech. You need to be able to send a message and tell you my idea and trade my idea with you. And you could do that with blockchain. So.
And I saw this discussion, CNBC today had like an hour thing on AI, because they're trying to catch up, and you're like, you can see the people, they're like, and they bring in these different people from tech, and, the artists, because Tina Turner just died, RIP, Tina Turner, yesterday, but somebody was Tito, Ike. I knew Ike. No, so it was. I like Ike Eisenhower, not Ike Turner, but there's her art, what she produced. AI, you can go out there and say, and I think you can download it on Apple right now. Open Chat GPT. I think there's an app you can download and start using it. But you can say, hey, create a song that sounds like Tina Turner that's at this place, and you can kind of get real close to what she did. And so what happens to the artistic, value or intellectual property, basically artistic property, that you produce with this AI stuff? And so it's going to be important, like you said, to be able to protect that stuff, to be able to legitimize that stuff and say, listen, this is the real deal. I see going forward, to get off on a little tangent, you're going to have people before they die. You saw it with James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader. They're going to, for their legacy, for their estate.
And Tom Hanks.
Right, and Tom Hanks. Think Elvis. If in his day he had the ability, he died at 42. I mean, how young and how prolific, everything that he's done and the impact he had, and his estate goes on. And think if he had said, okay, let's just, all my likeness, my voice, everything, we're going to put it in a stack of information that, AI can then pull from. I mean, and whoever controls that can produce songs and, concerts and holographic, and make money in arenas for eternity. And I mean, it's kind of a weird world that we're going into, but protecting the rights of that image, that voice, that artist is going to be an important thing. And so we got to figure out how we're going to do that. Without, I don't know. It's a brave new world, no doubt about it. Give me my Soma for all you illiterates out there.
Oh my goodness. It's a crazy new world. Also this week we had National Missing Children's Day. There's been a lot of talk about Madeleine McCann again recently.
Yeah, there's a documentary on Netflix. Is there about it?
Oh, okay. I don't know.
And everybody thinks that DeSantis is, what's his name, the kid from Unsolved Mysteries. You see that? There's that whole conspiracy thing. What is his name? Adam Walsh? Adam Walsh. Oh, yeah, I see that floating around. That DeSantis is really Adam Walsh. The Unsolved Mysteries host. The reason why he started that show. Was it Unsolved Mysteries or Missing or?
That his child is? That
yeah,
DeSantis?
What's the name? Somebody help me.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's not Unsolved Mysteries. That's Robert Stack, isn't it? There's the one where, he came out in the 80s and had all these shows in the 90s, the, missing persons, missing.
Yeah, it was
the
Robert
host.
Walsh, wasn't it?
No, it was
Matt Walsh. No.
Whatever the guy's name was. Adam Walsh was his kid. And that was one of the reasons why he's trying to find, missing children, because his kid was abducted. And now we've got this big theory that Ron DeSantis is actually the kid that went missing.
Is he adopted?
I don't know. I don't even know. I don't think I shouldn't even have brought it up, but because I'm fueling it. But yeah, it's something else strange. If you want to entertain yourself on this 3-day weekend.
Okay. Well, I don't have time.
Go down the rabbit hole and report back.
No.
If you go down the rabbit hole, you know what you're going to find, Lisa? Baby rabbits.
Oh God.
That's what you find in a rabbit hole.
I
Just saying.
thought that Ghislaine had something to do with Madeline. Because Ghislaine was caught
Well, there's
in
always
a picture of her with the
Pedodesta, brothers were always a part of that, right? They, theorized that was what happened.
That was part of it. But who was the little girl? Jean Benet. There's a picture of.
Oh yeah, what is she from Colorado?
One of Jean Benet's like pageants or something. That's the other thing. Like, I don't know. There's just all this stuff that's starting to. It's pretty much like it is all out there if you want to go look at it. It's just protect your heart and your mind when you go look.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you can find all kinds of things you don't want to really see. So be careful. I always, when somebody asks me a question, like my wife or my daughter, I'll say, when you ask a question, you better make sure you're ready for the answer. So, don't just go flippantly asking questions, because if you want to know, I'll tell you the truth, but make sure you want to know the answer.
Mm-hmm. There has been some more, like I've been kind of reporting little drips and drops that I've been hearing about this weekend and information. I'm hoping everybody has a wonderful, safe, peaceful Memorial Day weekend, but I would not be surprised if we didn't see some more of these, like either bank closures or some kind of announcement, over this
Tis the weekend, huh? Yeah, and then you've got this whole debt ceiling. I'm not 100% sure where they're going with it.
I heard that she changed the date again.
Yeah, it's June 5th now, which it's never been a hard date. It's because she made it sound like it was, but it basically comes down to at what point, I mean, do we not have enough money to pay for everything that we, said we were or wanted to pay for? So it's not a default. I mean, it really isn't until you stop paying the bondholders, the treasury holders, because you still got money coming in. You can pass that point, and let's say we hit the debt ceiling, and okay, what's $5 trillion? We can't go over that. Let's say, well, at that point, it becomes we can't just fund everything that we said we were going to fund. We have to start saying, okay, I've only got this much coming in, like a household, only got this much coming in a month. I can only fund this much a month. And so it kind of restrains them and forces them to do that. So they have to make a decision. Are we going to pay the interest on the debt? Are we going to pay, the soldiers? Are we going to pay Social Security? Are we going to pay for the FBI? There are things that we can cut, and don't have to pay for. And so, you know what? Let it go. Let the debt ceiling just sit there and let it be a ceiling, and let's start making hard choices. But the bigger picture is it's a Ponzi scheme anyway. So like Vic says, why not just freaking run the thing hot, print $1 trillion platinum coins, and just blow the whole thing up? The rest of the world's already running from the dollar. And just whatever, it's all going to go. And it's going to go. So get out of it while you can. Exit the vampire casino.
Explain the $1 trillion platinum coin.
Okay.
Theory. I do not. I've heard people throw that around, and I have not grabbed onto
that. But basically, the theory is this, and I may not get the details right, but I mean, you just print up. I mean, it could be a gold coin. You create, but they can't do that because it's a little different. That's always been kind of a monetary metal that's had $20 stamped on it, and like silver's at $1 because $1 worth of silver is what it is based on how much silver, grains of silver. So they could use like a platinum coin. Treasury could say, all right, the mint can come out. Treasury says, hey, mint a 1 ounce coin and put $1 trillion on it. Nothing really stopping it, I guess. And so they print up 30 of them or 35 of them, and they say, okay, here, send it to China with, Blinken or whatever, Blinky Blink or, Sloppy Joe or, Kamala, and deliver the coin and say, here, your debt's paid in full. And they can say, we paid off our debts with all this money. The Treasury issued it and said it was legit. Now, nobody's going to want our money at that point because we just basically said, F you.
Just destroyed it.
Yeah, you just F'd them, but we've cleared the debt. We created all these coins, cleared the debt, and guess what? We got 50 trillion more we can spend. Well, you're not going to be able to buy anything from China or Russia or any other country at that point, anything you need, because they're going to say, F you. I'm not taking that because you just made it up. which is what they're doing anyway. I mean, because they're creating the money out of nothing. Again, it's a slow frog boil. Now they're just saying, okay, we're turning the heat all the way up, and now they're getting burned. We're going to burn y'all. And that's it. I mean, so you got to, at that point, say, okay, we've got no debt. We have no obligations. It doesn't stop somebody from saying, hey, we're going to come collect it because we don't think that's legit. And they send the military over here. So ultimately, it's still backed by the military, and we have to, fight them. Or they just say, fine, whatever, Jubilee year, everything's zeroed, and we start over, and then we have to start over, and we have to back it with something going forward because nobody's going to take the money that we've got now. So it'll have to be backed by the gold in the ground, the oil in the ground we have, the natural gas, the labor, whatever it is, and you start over. That's
okay. So you could Jubilee and start over with what we have now.
That way, you could do it that way if you wanted to.
Because there have been a lot of things floating around about, thinking of, especially with the announcement on Wednesday, the admission of the Vatican covering up all the harm to children, and the executive order that was written that says if you bring harm, then your assets will be seized. So the Vatican's assets should be seized under that executive order by the Vatican's own admission. I mean, when I watched that,
should be
press brief,
but again, that's a president of the United States saying that this must be so, and so you got to back it up at some level. And you can back it up. You got.
I think our military can back it up.
That's what I mean. You can. It's just is it being done, and is it being directed to happen? Because you can do it. You can just say, okay, that's it. We're done. And it very well could happen. We just don't know it.
I think that
and
Christmas,
all of this is just a show, right?
Public and I were watching the trees be delivered. Remember when they made such a big deal about the trees being delivered?
The evergreens.
And the evergreens. And Public has been in landscaping for years and years and years. Like he did it for years.
Family business.
Family business, yes. And he was like, Lisa, a semi doesn't bend like that from a tree. Like the weight of those trucks, that's not a tree. That's not a Christmas tree.
That's a heck of a tree.
And so we were doing all these decodes and all that. That was like way back. That was years ago, Public. I mean, so we think this is, we're all sitting here thinking, oh, this is happening now. The bank failure, the this, that, the gold distribution, or it hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen. It may have already happened.
Right. The deals are probably already been made because it's just like, UFOs. It's like, the stealth bomber. It's like all these things that we didn't know about them when they existed. We find out about them years later. See, all this stuff's already happened, and then we're led in on it later on. It's almost like they got to spoon feed us, and again, the frog, it's got to acclimate the frog so the frog's not going to get upset, got to wake people up, and we've got to make sure we show the agendas, and everybody wakes up and realizes this isn't the path I want. How do we fix this? Oh, we already fixed it. We just needed you to wake up to realize that you didn't want to keep going.
Yeah, the frustrating part for me is that the people that saw it while it was happening were told they're crazy and.
I mean, but what's the alternative though? You just pull the plug. I mean, I guess that's the thing. What's the alternative? You walk into office.
You know what? I don't want to be lied to. Why do I have to?
I don't either.
Why am I less than a person?
Most people can't handle the truth.
Tell me the truth.
You can't handle the truth. I mean, seriously, most people can't. They don't want to freaking.
Why does somebody else get to say that I can't handle?
They want hot dogs. They want beer. I want to watch the NHL. I want to watch the NBA. I want to watch the playoffs. I want to party with my friends. I don't want to know that crap. I don't want to even hear it. I don't want to know that my money is garbage and everything I've worked for is crap. Don't tell me about crypto. It's a scam. Yeah. And they just don't want to hear it because it destroys. They can't adjust fast enough.
And that's fine if you're going to be that way. But then you don't get to be a victim of the same system you choose not to learn about.
Right.
You don't
it's
get
like,
to
don't
play
make me the
both sides
victim
of the
anymore
story
because I know.
Like
because
that,
I gotta
that's
suffer.
what I don't like. Yeah.
Well, I know. Why should I suffer through it? Because I've seen the truth. But that's kind of how it is. When you know the truth, it is kind of suffering because most of the people aren't awake to the truth. And it just takes time to wake them up to save as many people as possible and wake as many people up as possible. And I mean, that's why we do meetups, right?
Right.
I mean, to try and wake as many people up as we can.
Charlie sent your link to one of our friends, and she was like, "Oh, this is the strangest website I've ever seen."
What link? My website link?
The website link
or the YouTube
for
link?
the website.
Because I hand coded it all in HTML. Because I don't pay anybody to do this stuff, and I don't
It's
want to
not
learn
very
new tools.
fancy, but
no, it's just like information. That's all it is.
There.
Yeah, this is black and white.
Yeah, or you can go to litecoinlisa.net.
It's prettier. It's prettier.
But it has not as many links to information. But it does have. But either way, you can find the information to meet us on July or January. Gosh,
June.
Right month. June.
You joshing me here?
23rd.
What are we got? These J's?
I don't know. June 23rd at Peoria Pizza Works at 3:00, and we are gonna do the live show. We've got giveaways. We're gonna, if you want to come up and ask a question, it's just a real fluid, fun event. And then we'll have lots of great stuff.
I don't know if I should say his name, but a guy on Twitter that I've interacted with here. He's in the area, let's just say, in Illinois, and he's going to come. He's like, "Hey, man, what's this meetup all about? How many people come?" He's going to bring a bunch of stickers and Bitcoin, Litecoin, all kinds of different stickers. He says, should I just bring Bitcoin and Litecoin? I said, bring anything you want. I said, everybody chooses their path. You want XRP? You want Hex? Doesn't matter. We're going to have a big Hex guy.
It's about freedom and people choosing their path for themselves. Because remember, it's about personal responsibility. With personal responsibility, that brings freedom. And we have to all grow up. We have to all make a choice for ourselves. We have to decide, what systems. And, do you want hot dogs and beer and football and I don't want to know what's really going on in the world? Or do you want to wake the heck up and eat your Cheerios? Where's my book? Oh, I set it down.
Get your man breakfast.
Yeah.
Panty waisted breakfast eaters. Get some Cheerios.
Don't be a panty waste. Get some Cheerios and don't be a panty waste.
Panty wasters.
That made me laugh so hard. I love that.
We need a penny waste coin.
Man up. Get your Cheerios on. And I think it's going to be awesome. And we're going to just hang out there for the whole evening. So we'll do the show and then we
hang out, talk crypto.
We get there early. Yeah. And we set up
pizzas,
and
deep dish, Chicago style pizza, whatever you want. They got all kinds of different pizza. It's good stuff. We got a patio out in the front and just sit there and smoke cigars, whatever you want to do. There's something for everybody. Family friendly. Friday nights, a lot of families come in, they'll sit in there and they'll have their dinner.
Yeah. So everybody's welcome. And it's free, open to the public. We're just there. Westwood, if you download a wallet, if it's a brand new wallet and you download it for the first time, Westwood will send you a little Litecoin.
I'll send you an ERC20 token to where I lose money. No, I won't. I'll send you Litecoin to where it's only a penny or less per transaction.
Yeah. I love it.
Westwood don't play those games.
I love it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some people need a red pill. Some people need an orange pill. Some people need a silver pill. So whatever that is.
You got all the pills you want. What color you want? I got this. I got this. I got this.
Yeah.
What kind of pill you want? We got them all.
I don't know what the ice cream thing is. There's
ice cream man. Eddie Murphy talked about the ice cream man. Ice cream man.
He did. And my husband said there's an old song. I'm the ice
cream man.
There's
an ice cream man. Lemmy. Yeah, it's a kind of a little.
And Lemmy, and he's raunchy. Basically he's a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Right.
A little risque.
Yeah, something about I have all. All the flavors or everything you need or something like that. And they keep, showing Biden licking the ice cream, and he's all about the ice cream. And they showed Nancy with the ice cream.
An ice cream cone. Warren Buffett likes to lick the ice cream cone.
Mm-hmm. Then there was, 4029 does a lot of comms especially out of their weather channel, but also just out of their TV. And they did this bizarre.
Yeah, it is Van Halen. Yeah, thanks, Jim.
Is it Van Halen?
Ice cream man.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that has something, there's some calm there. I don't know what that is. But they did this terrible story about a child had been killed by an ice cream truck running into their house. And, no, he wasn't dead yet. this is the weird part. So like knowing
it's like a
that
Monty Python skit. I'm not dead yet.
Like having a child who received an organ and understanding like the sensitivity that there is with how you report all that and how the stories are and the confidentiality that goes along with all of that. The way this story was handled was just like inappropriate, weird, strange. I can't even use all the words that I want to use, but they show this little boy in a bed. He's not dead yet. He's like in terrible situation, and they're talking about giving away his organs, and they don't show like the usually they would show like him healthy and as a nice healthy boy, and the family,
they're not going to show him suffering and on life support.
And the family's already made the decision, and it was like this child passed and the family made this beautiful decision to give the organs, not, oh hey, they're making this decision today and this child suffering in the ice cream truck came and hit him in his house.
Yeah, let's watch as they pull the plug. Hard copy.
It was really strange. So I don't know what all that was about.
I don't know. It could be just the news being just so over the top and ridiculous too. I don't know. Was it local or national?
Yeah, it's local, and they're sending a message, but I couldn't quite read all the comms on it. It's like there's a there, but I don't know what it means.
Lisa, the road to hell is paved with undecoded comms.
That's true. I don't know what I'll do when it's over. Like, will I have commercials to
walk around barefooted on the grass, and see God and everything and the beauty of the world and none of the madness, and enjoy the birds singing and the rabbits playing and all that stuff.
All that stuff.
Heaven on earth. Something to it.
Why all the baby rabbit thing? I had somebody on my call last night showing me a picture of a baby rabbit.
Well, I can get you some pictures. There's rabbit holes all over.
Oh yeah, you have rabbits all over.
Baby rabbits everywhere. I got so many rabbits. It's crazy. It's funny. Dad said the other day, he says, the rabbits out here are really tame. Because he's out planting and doing stuff, and he said, I gotta spit on that rabbit. It's so close. It's like right there. I said,
because we feed them, Dad.
Well, it's because I got the dogs on the leashes when they go out, and I've got them kind of trained. They want to go after the rabbits, but I've got them to the point to where they're just like, oh, it's just somebody else living here. They're kind of getting to that point to where the rabbits are left alone. They get to do what they want.
Yeah.
As long as they stay on this side of the street, they go on the other side. There's no guarantees. But they stay in the sanctuary, they're okay. Over here at Westwood, and the rabbits are free to roam. Free to roam and be rabbits and make all kinds of holes and babies everywhere.
Oh, down the rabbit hole we all
down the rabbit hole, baby rabbits.
That's what happens.
Just saying.
Well,
do I have anything else on my list
tonight? Do you have something on your list?
I'm looking. Only look at the list. I just make notes, and I need to start on Monday because I'll be like Thursday and like, oh, what's going on this week? So I've forgotten most of the stuff that happened. Ron DeSantis announced on Twitter he's running for president. Yeah,
what happened with that? I heard it kind of flopped, but
it kind of broke. The Twitter thing didn't have the capacity to hold. It's one thing if you were just going live stream on Twitter, I don't even know if you can do that anymore because they got rid of Periscope. I don't know if you can go live stream Twitter anymore. You got Spaces, but with Spaces, you got all these connections coming in. And so everybody wants to listen. So it's another feed, another connection to the server to where they can interact. And I think it's a different way of doing it. But if you're just watching it live, I don't know that it takes up as much capacity, but, yeah, it crashed. I tried listening to it, and it was just didn't work.
You can live stream on Twitter because I can do it from my StreamYard.
Okay, it still does it. Directly. How does that work, though? Can you do it?
You have to have software.
Oh, you can't do it from the app anymore.
No, you have to have software that you stream directly to.
Well, I thought Mitch did it the other day.
Well, maybe you can do it.
I think you can.
Twitter.
I don't know, but whatever. He decided to do it audio only, and that was the big thing with the mainstream news. It's like it's audio only, and we can't like take sound video clips and do. Oh, how rude! That they would just bypass the mainstream media, so we can't. Used to be call the press together for the Oval Office. The president's going to speak. Now this is what I like about it. Now you've got a forum for people like DeSantis, for Trump, and Trump really started it, using that platform, and Robert Kennedy. I mean, using that platform to speak directly to the people, uncensored, raw, right to the source. I like that. I like the ability for people to speak directly to people and then
back
interact.
to Roosevelt, fireside chats.
I know, and that's what needs to happen, to
That's
where everybody can hear it right from the horse's mouth.
Feel like they're in the room.
Yep, I know. Yeah. And people resonate with that, and people, like Roosevelt or not, did some things that confiscating gold, printing a bunch of money. But a lot of people really loved Roosevelt. They loved the fact that he did those fireside chats. It gave them comfort during a turbulent time, Depression and World War II. And it was a voice that they could, it was a comfort. It was something that, he's speaking to me. He's talking to me. And they resonated with that. So it's very important. And everything's already been done throughout history. We're just repeating it in a different way through technology. I mean, it's all the same. We're the same people. Done it many times.
It is crazy.
Over and over and over and over again.
That's where, like, when I saw those RFK bookends, and I was like, oh, they're Francoma. So there's a couple things I look for.
FDR bookends, right? Not RFK.
Oh, I'm sorry.
FDR.
I was thinking of
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Yes. Yeah, Roosevelt bookends. And they were Francoma. So they were
there's a Sasquatch connection there, but go ahead.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why? Tell me the Sasquatch connection.
Well, Teddy Roosevelt, who was related to FDR, Teddy Roosevelt, who became president, before he was president, was on a hunting trip. And there's a whole write-up where somebody wrote.
Yeah, a bear.
It was telling him a story. It was telling Teddy Roosevelt a story when he was younger about an experience that this hunter had in the woods with a Sasquatch. And there's this whole thing, you can go look it up, and this whole written out document thing that experienced an encounter with a Sasquatch. So just something to look into. Sasquatches.
I heard there's a lot of them in like northeastern Oklahoma.
That's where they're at on the eastern, exactly, in the wooded areas there bordering Arkansas. It's a hotbed. Missouri's another one. Ohio's another one, believe it or not. A lot of them there, people are experiencing that stuff. I don't know what it's all about, but all I know is it changes people's lives. They've seen something that, impacts them to where they don't even want to go in the woods anymore. So, once you see it. So
they don't like it? I thought it would be nice.
No, I mean, it's so intimidating and overwhelming that it like shakes them to the core. Because you think about that, you're out in the woods alone and you realize this thing's having its way with me, doing whatever it wants, and I don't know where it's at. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, whoa, I'm pretty inferior here. I don't care what weapons I have. And there have been people, they've had weapons and encountered them. They say, I couldn't shoot it. It just, I was just paralyzed with fear.
It's too human.
Hunters, that have killed many things, and are experienced in the woods. And it's so much of an overpowering force to them that they just can't handle it. Phil, see if he's in the chat. He can chime in. He sends me a lot of the videos and links to it. But you go watch this stuff, and with this modern age, with all the cameras and the technology that we have now, you're seeing a lot of things that people have always talked about in the oral tradition, and now you're starting to pick these things up. And all these things we're just being inundated with in this technological age. And I think if you're not prepared for anything at this point, it's going to be difficult for people to transition. It really is, because there's so many changes coming and so much truth being revealed that it's overwhelming. And I think everybody has an opportunity to say, okay, I'm out, I'm done, and then a lot of people check out, but I kind of want to see how it ends up. I want to watch the movie.
I know. I want to watch the movie.
I want to see how it goes.
I'll stay up late to watch a good movie.
I want to watch the credits until the end and I knew he was involved. I knew this, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing over and over. So. Oh, exciting stuff. Well,
definitely
I think we have a lot to look forward to. Once again, I hope everybody has a great, safe, hopefully uneventful Memorial weekend.
If you're prepared, and a lot of people are in panic mode, like, oh, it's going to happen, what's going to happen? And it's like,
It's already happening.
Yeah, I mean, every day you need to prepare for these things. I mean, Bix has been screaming about this stuff forever, ad nauseum. And it's like, when's it going to happen? And we're all prepared, But it's just, you've got to be prepared for anything, and don't be dependent, on the system, on centralization. We've got all these tools for decentralization now, to where we can take power back in our own lives through money, through information. Use those tools and get into a place, at least in your mindset, maybe not physically. If you can get physically into a place where you want to be, that your comfort zone, you're happy, and but mentally get into that spot to where you can not let this stuff affect you, not let the mainstream media affect you, not let their narrative affect you. Get into that place to where, okay, I'm making decisions for myself. I'm trusting myself. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if they doubt what I'm doing and they call me out for it, whether it's family, whether it's trolls on the internet, doesn't matter. But just trust yourself and know that this is the time that you need to have faith in yourself and faith in what you really believe in.
Yeah.
And just believe in yourself. That's all it comes down to. Believe in what you believe in, what you've always said you believe in, because that's what's going to carry you through this. And it's not a scary thing. It's something that is necessary to get to a point where humanity can be humanity again, rather than what they want to take us down the road of singularity, of becoming robotic and becoming AI driven and all this stuff. I mean, yeah, they're tools, but you've got to realize that, you know who you are, you know what you're all about, you know what you're part of, you know where you come from, and just have faith in that. That's all you got to do. And then every day is peaceful. Every day is happy. And, it's get yourself into that spot.
And find something that makes you happy every day. So, yeah.
Flea markets, estate sales.
Not flea markets. I don't like flea markets. Okay. I like garage sales, estate sales. Yeah, not flea markets.
That's I got you. Yeah. Spaces on Twitter. I guess I can host it this week. Lisa's like, I don't know how to do this. And she did a great job last week. And it was actually better when you hosted it, because when you checked out, it all ended. Otherwise, I'd be still going and stumbling and having another drink.
Okay, guys, I'm out. And they're like, but if you leave, it turns off. I'm like, sorry.
Probably a good thing, because I would have had another drink and I'd be like, oh my God, we don't have a class tomorrow, do we?
I am not staying up late. Yeah. If you're interested in booking a crypto class, you can go to likequeenlisa.net on the very front page, or just hanging out with me in Westwood for 2 hours. You can have our time exclusively. Pick a date, have our time. Well, not exclusively. Whoever signs up. There's only I don't know if I did 10 or 20 spots, but right now we don't have anybody booked. So it would just be you. It would be.
Well, it would be an exclusive meeting if you sign up for tomorrow morning.
It would be for right now. Yeah. So thanks, Mark. So anyway, everybody have a great weekend, and remember everybody deployed. Remember what the weekend's about. I did go over some of the symbolism in the I pulled it up on Farmer's Almanac, where like at 3:00 there's supposed to be like a moment of silence. Like in the beginning of the day on Memorial Day, they're supposed to take the flag all the way up and take it to half mast. And then at 3:00, there's supposed to be like a moment of silence or something. So Westwood says he's in on Spaces tonight. So there's your answer.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
There you go. Yeah. So we'll remember.
Should I leave you with my best Frankie McDonald?
Do it.
Like one. Oh, I can't do it that loud. And she's gone. So you know what? I can probably just dominate the rest of the show, because I think Litecoin Lisa has checked out. She's left the building. No, tonight, Twitter, Spaces. If you're not on Twitter, sign up, get a Twitter account, and follow Clint Westwood. It's if you go to clintwestwood.net, there's a big link at the top. You can go right through to the Twitter. Follow, put your notifications on. I will do a Twitter live stream tonight, and you can jump in. You can ask questions. We can talk about Sasquatches. We can talk about the X-Files. We can talk about all these things that are not crypto, but kind of crypto related, because it all ties in. It's that big spider web in the universe, you know, to where it's all connected. So on that note, I don't know if I can even end this stream. I'll have to jump out. So thanks for watching. Love you all. Trust yourselves. That's what it comes down to. Do not give energy to the vampires. That's all they are. They just want to steal everything that you have. They want your energy. They want your money. They want your soul. They want everything that you have because they don't have it. They're shells of human beings. It's like that cardboard cutout, you know, the Western scene, you know, behind it, there's nothing. And it's all garbage. It's all a fraud. Don't buy into that. The Potemkin village, that's really what it is, you know, the whole staged village. It's not real. I mean, these people aren't real. Look at what they do. Look at what they do on CNN, Fox, all that stuff. You know, you think they're, oh, wow, let's listen to these people. But behind the scenes, it's just a studio. It's just, you know, bare, metallic, lights, artificial. All of it's artificial. It's not real. You know what's real. You go through reality every day. You know the people you interact with, the things you have to go through. That's what's real. So don't let people try and steer you through your life and make you take a path that you don't want to take. You know, if it's inside you to do something and you think it's right and somebody else is questioning, you know, who you are and, oh my gosh, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. But you know, it's right in your soul and your heart. You need to do it. You need to trust yourself. That's what it comes down to. If we all trust ourselves, if we all just say, no, we're not going to obey, we're not going to listen, you know, like They Live, you put those glasses on, you're like, oh, okay, now I've seen. All right, okay, now what are you going to do about it? You're going to keep going through the motions and keep playing the game, keep participating in the vampire casino, keep playing with the poker chips that they issue that you can't cash out? Are you going to stay in that casino? Or are you going to walk out of that casino? And that's up to you, 100% up to you. So trust yourself. Don't let anybody manipulate you. You were born for a reason. You're here for a reason. Fulfill that mission. And the rest of them, see ya. More powerful.